Corn seems innocent. Golden kernels, sweet taste, a pantry staple. But hidden inside that can are dangers no one talks about. Pesticide residues linked to kidney damage, mold toxins that spike blood pressure, recalls swept under the rug. Today, we expose 9 corn brands to avoid at all costs and reveal the 2 that are actually safe. Coming in at number 9, we have Green Giant canned corn. Green Giant. The name alone conjures images of a friendly giant standing tall in a lush green valley. For decades, this brand has promised wholesome vegetables straight from the farm to your table. Their packaging shows vibrant golden kernels bursting with natural sweetness. Seniors have trusted this brand for generations, believing they were making a healthy choice for their hearts and their families. The commercials show rolling fields of corn swaying in the breeze, farmers with weathered hands carefully selecting the finest ears. But here is what Green Giant does not want you to know. In recent years, consumer complaints have flooded online forums and food safety databases. Reports describe cans opened to reveal kernels with a grayish, slimy film coating the surface. Others describe a sour, almost fermented odor wafting up the moment the lid pops. This is not the fresh-from-the-field corn their commercials promise. One consumer in Ohio wrote that she opened a can for Sunday dinner and immediately gagged from the smell. She described the liquid as cloudy, almost murky, with a viscosity that reminded her of mucus rather than water. Another shopper in Florida found what appeared to be mold growing between the kernels, dark green spots that certainly were not herbs or seasoning. Laboratory testing by independent consumer groups found elevated sodium levels far exceeding what the nutrition label claims. Some samples contained 15 to 20% more sodium than listed. For seniors managing high blood pressure or taking heart medications, this hidden sodium is not just an inconvenience, it is a direct threat. Every extra milligram of sodium forces your heart to work harder, raises your blood pressure, and increases your risk of stroke. The American Heart Association recommends seniors with hypertension consume no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium daily. One serving of Green Giant corn can contain over 400 milligrams, and most people eat more than one serving. That single can could be pushing you toward a stroke without you even knowing it. But the sodium is only part of the problem. Some batches tested positive for traces of fumonizin, a mycotoxin produced by mold that commonly infects corn crops. The FDA has set guidance levels for fumonizin, but enforcement is inconsistent. Studies link chronic fumonizin exposure to kidney toxicity and liver damage. Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that fumonizin exposure can cause oxidative stress in kidney cells, accelerating decline in seniors who already have compromised renal function. Seniors with already compromised kidney function, especially those on dialysis or taking medications filtered through the kidneys, face compounding risks. Your doctor carefully monitors your kidney function through regular blood tests. This corn could be silently undoing that careful medical work. And here is the betrayal that stings the most. Green Giant's parent company, B&G Foods, has faced multiple FDA warning letters over the years for facility violations. Inspectors documented improper sanitation, inadequate pest control, and failure to follow good manufacturing practices. In one inspection, investigators found evidence of insect activity near storage areas. The Jolly Green Giant on the label promises purity. The inspection reports tell a very different story. If you have been trusting Green Giant as your go-to corn, you might want to reconsider. That familiar green can could be hiding dangers your heart and kidneys cannot afford. At number 8, we have Del Monte whole kernel corn. Del Monte has been a household name for over a century. Their red label is iconic, synonymous with canned vegetables that generations of Americans grew up eating. The brand promises quality you can trust, vegetables picked at peak ripeness, and nutrition locked in for your family's health. Walk down any grocery aisle in America, and you will see that familiar red label staring back at you, a promise of reliability and tradition. But the reality inside those cans tells a troubling story. In 2019, Del Monte issued a massive recall affecting over 64,000 cases of Fiesta corn seasoned with red and green peppers. The reason was potential underprocessing, which could lead to contamination with Clostridium botulinum, the bacteria responsible for botulism. Botulism is no minor illness. It attacks the nervous system, causing paralysis, breathing difficulties, and in severe cases, death. The toxin produced by this bacteria is one of the most lethal substances known to science. Seniors with weakened immune systems are at the highest risk. The CDC reports that adults over 65 account for a disproportionate number of botulism hospitalizations and fatalities. Recovery can take weeks or months, and some damage may be permanent. Now, you might think a recall means the problem was fixed, But here is what they do not advertise. The recall only covered products distributed to specific states and sold within a narrow window. Countless cans may have slipped through, sitting in pantries across America, ticking time bombs waiting to be opened. Many seniors stock up on canned goods, keeping them for months or even years. The company's response was reactive, not preventive. They waited until the risk was undeniable before taking action. How many other batches had similar problems but were never tested? Beyond the recall, independent testing of Del Monte corn products has revealed concerning levels of BPA, bisphenol A, leaching from can linings into the food. BPA is an endocrine disruptor linked to heart disease, diabetes, and hormone imbalances. A study published in the journal Hypertension found that BPA exposure can raise blood pressure by as much as 5 millimeters of mercury within hours. For seniors already managing these conditions, every exposure adds cumulative risk. The American Heart Association has raised concerns about BPA's impact on cardiovascular health, yet Del Monte continues using traditional can linings, while other companies have switched to BPA-free alternatives. When you open a can of Del Monte corn, the kernels might look golden and appealing. The texture might seem firm and fresh, but invisible chemicals and potential bacterial contamination do not announce themselves. They work silently, and seniors pay the price. The label promises trust. The track record demands skepticism. Most people never learn how to actually protect themselves from these hidden food dangers. But stick around. We are breaking down the safe options at the very end of this video. The solutions exist, and they could change everything. Now at number 7, we have Libby's whole kernel sweet corn. Libby's has marketed itself as America's trusted canned vegetable brand since 1869. Over 150 years of history. Their commercials feature happy families gathering around dinner tables, spooning golden corn onto plates with smiles. The promise is simple: wholesome, American-grown vegetables you can count on. That heritage and tradition should mean something, but count on for what exactly? FDA inspection reports paint a disturbing picture of some Libby's processing facilities. Inspectors documented corroded equipment with visible rust and pitting, standing water near food processing lines, and inadequate temperature controls during canning. In one facility, inspectors noted that canning equipment had not been properly calibrated for months. These are not minor oversights. They are the exact conditions that allow dangerous bacteria to thrive and multiply. Consumer complaints describe opening Libby's corn cans to find kernels with brown or black spots, mushy texture that falls apart at the slightest touch, and a metallic aftertaste that lingers on the tongue long after the meal is over. That metallic taste is not your imagination. It is a sign of can corrosion leaching into your food. Imagine biting into what should be sweet corn and tasting something that reminds you of old pennies. That is not natural. That is contamination entering your body with every bite. For seniors, the risks compound quickly. A study published in the Journal of Toxicology found that chronic exposure to heavy metals, including those leaching from corroded food cans, contributes to cognitive decline and increases Alzheimer's risk. The metals accumulate in brain tissue over time, causing progressive damage. If you are already managing memory concerns or taking medications for cognitive health, contaminated corn is the last thing your brain needs. Every contaminated bite adds to the toxic load your body must process. And then there is the sodium. Libby's whole kernel sweet corn contains 310 milligrams of sodium per serving. One can typically contains about 3.5 servings. Eat the whole can, which many people do as a side dish, and you have consumed over 1,000 milligrams of sodium in a single sitting. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams per day for seniors with high blood pressure. One can of Libby's corn could push you dangerously close to that limit before you have even had your main course. The vintage branding evokes nostalgia and trust, but nostalgia cannot protect your kidneys, your heart, or your brain from what is really inside that can. Number 6 on our list is Great Value Corn, Walmart's store brand. Great Value is Walmart's flagship store brand, and it dominates grocery aisles across America. Walk into any Walmart and you will see those yellow and blue labels stacked floor to ceiling. The appeal is obvious: lower prices, familiar packaging, and the implicit promise that you are getting the same quality as name brands without the markup. For seniors on fixed incomes trying to stretch Social Security checks, Great Value seems like a smart, budget-friendly choice. But cheap prices often come with hidden costs. Great Value products are sourced from various suppliers, and traceability is notoriously difficult. When you open a can of Great Value corn, you have no reliable way of knowing which farm grew it, which facility processed it, or what pesticides pesticides were used during cultivation. The supply chain is opaque by design. This lack of transparency should concern anyone who cares about what goes into their body, especially seniors whose systems are more sensitive to toxins. Independent testing by consumer advocacy groups found that some great value corn samples contained residues of atrazine, one of the most commonly used herbicides in American corn farming. Over 70 million pounds of atrazine are applied to American crops each year. Atrazine is banned in the European Union due to concerns about hormone disruption and cancer risk. European regulators determined it was too dangerous for their citizens. But in the United States, it remains legal, and it is showing up in the food you eat. For seniors, atrazine exposure is particularly concerning. Research links it to increased risk of prostate cancer in men and breast cancer in women. It disrupts thyroid function, which affects metabolism, energy levels, and heart rhythm. If you are already taking thyroid medication like Synthroid or levothyroxine, or managing hormone-related conditions, atrazine residue adds an invisible burden your body does not need. Your endocrine system is already working hard to maintain balance. Why do you think the FDA lets brands use ingredients banned in other countries? It is a question worth asking every time you reach for that budget-friendly can. But the pesticide issue is only part of the problem with great value corn. Consumer complaints describe cans with dented rims, compromised seals, and kernels that smell off the moment the can opens. Dented cans are not just cosmetic issues. They can harbor Clostridium botulinum, the same bacteria responsible for deadly botulism. Walmart's quality control for great value products has faced criticism for inconsistency, and the company's response to complaints often amounts to store credit rather than systemic fixes. A $2 refund does not fix a hospital stay. You might save a few dollars at checkout, but the cost to your health could be far greater than any savings. Isn't it strange how billion-dollar food companies keep having recalls, yet their products are still on every shelf? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Moving to number 5, we have Hanover sweet corn. Hanover Foods has been a regional favorite for decades, particularly popular along the East Coast from Pennsylvania down to Virginia. The brand markets itself as a family-owned company committed to quality and tradition. Their packaging features pastoral farm scenes, red barns, and rolling green hills, reinforcing the image of wholesome, locally sourced vegetables from hardworking American farmers. But family-owned does not mean family-safe. Hanover has faced multiple FDA warning letters over the past decade. Inspectors cited the company for failure to maintain sanitary conditions, inadequate employee hygiene training, and improper storage temperatures that fluctuated outside safe ranges. In one inspection report, investigators documented condensation dripping from overhead pipes directly onto food processing equipment. Water pooled on surfaces where corn was being packaged. That condensation can carry bacteria, mold spores, and contaminants directly into the corn you serve your family. Consumer reports describe Hanover corn with an unusual, almost chemical aftertaste that seems artificial and wrong. Others report finding small fragments of foreign material in their cans, tiny pieces of metal, plastic shards, or unidentified debris that should never be in food. For seniors with dental implants, dentures, or sensitive gums, biting into foreign material is not just unpleasant. It can cause injury, infection, or costly dental repairs that Medicare may not fully cover. One bite of contaminated corn could mean thousands of dollars in dental work. The sodium content in Hanover sweet corn also raises red flags. At 320 milligrams per serving, it ranks among the higher sodium options on store shelves. Seniors managing congestive heart failure, kidney disease, or hypertension must monitor every milligram. Hanover's corn can silently push you over your daily limit without you realizing it. Your doctor tells you to watch your salt intake, but hidden sodium makes that nearly impossible. The pastoral packaging promises farm-fresh purity. The inspection reports reveal industrial shortcuts and contamination risks. Which story do you believe? If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free, and it means you will never miss these important exposés that could protect your health. At number 4, we have Bird's Eye Steam Fresh Super Sweet Corn. Bird's Eye revolutionized frozen vegetables with their Steam Fresh line. The concept is simple and appealing. Microwave the bag, and steam cooks the vegetables inside. No pots, no boiling water, no hassle, no cleanup. For seniors with mobility issues, arthritis in their hands, or those who prefer quick meal preparation, Steam Fresh seems like a perfect solution. The convenience factor is undeniable, but convenience comes with concerning trade-offs. The Steam Fresh bags are made from plastic designed to withstand high microwave temperatures. However, independent laboratory testing has detected trace levels of phthalates and other plasticizers migrating from the bag into the food during heating. When you heat plastic, it releases chemicals. Phthalates are endocrine disruptors linked to hormone imbalances, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes complications. Research from Harvard found that people with higher phthalate levels in their blood had significantly higher rates of heart disease. For seniors already managing diabetes or taking hormone-related medications, phthalate exposure adds an invisible risk factor. Your doctor may have you carefully monitoring your diet, counting carbs, and checking blood sugar. But plastic chemicals in your frozen corn are not something most medical professionals think to warn you about. These chemicals accumulate in your body over time, stored in fat tissue. Every bag you heat adds to the total burden your body must process. Beyond the plastic concerns, Birdseye has faced quality control issues. Consumer complaints describe bags that arrive with freezer burn, thick ice crystals coating the corn, and kernels that taste stale or off. Freezer burn is not just an aesthetic issue. It indicates temperature fluctuations during storage and transport, which can allow bacterial growth even in frozen products. The cold chain was broken somewhere along the way. In 2016, Birdseye issued a recall affecting thousands of pounds of frozen vegetables due to potential listeria contamination. Listeria is particularly dangerous for seniors. The CDC reports that adults over 65 are 4 times more likely to be hospitalized from listeria infection than younger adults. Symptoms include high fever, severe headache, stiffness, nausea, and in serious cases, meningitis and sepsis. For seniors with compromised immune systems, listeria can be fatal within days. The Steam Fresh bag promises convenience. The reality delivers plastic chemicals and contamination risks you cannot see, smell, or taste until it is too late. Do not go yet. The solution comes at the very end of this video, and it could change how you shop for corn forever. We will show you exactly what to buy instead. Number 3 on the list is Kroger brand sweet corn. Kroger is one of the largest grocery chains in America, operating under dozens of regional names, including Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and Harris Teeter. Their store brand products line shelves from coast to coast in over 2,700 stores. Kroger brand sweet corn is positioned as an affordable, reliable choice for everyday families. The packaging is clean, simple, and reassuring, with nothing to suggest any problems. But what happens behind the scenes tells a different story. Kroger sources its store brand products from a rotating roster of suppliers. This means quality and safety standards can vary dramatically from batch to batch. One can might come from a facility with excellent safety protocols, regular inspections, and careful workers. The next might come from a plant with documented violations, outdated equipment, and overworked staff cutting corners. You have no way of knowing which can you are getting because the label never tells you where it was actually processed. FDA inspection records reveal that some Kroger suppliers have been cited for rodent droppings near food processing areas, inadequate cleaning of equipment between production runs, and improper labeling of allergens. For seniors with food allergies or sensitivities, mislabeled products can trigger serious reactions. An allergic reaction at age 70 is far more dangerous than one at age 30. Your body cannot recover as quickly, and complications are more likely. What might be minor hives for a young person could mean an emergency room visit for a senior. Consumer complaints about Kroger brand corn describe wildly inconsistent quality. Some cans contain plump, golden kernels that look and taste fine. Others contain shriveled, pale corn that tastes like it sat in a warehouse for years before ever reaching the shelf. The texture can range from firm to mushy within the same batch, suggesting inconsistent processing standards and poor quality control. And here is a statistic that should concern every senior. According to the USDA, approximately 15% of canned corn tested in random sampling contains pesticide residues above recommended levels. That means roughly 1 in 7 cans may have unsafe levels of agricultural chemicals. With Kroger's rotating supplier model, there is no way for consumers to know which cans fall into that 15%. The Kroger brand promises value, but value means nothing if you are gambling with your health every time you open a can. At number 2, we have Goya whole kernel corn. Goya is a beloved brand in Hispanic households and has gained mainstream popularity across America. Their products line entire aisles in many supermarkets. The company is marketed as authentic, flavorful, and family-oriented, passed down through generations. The Goya name evokes tradition, heritage, and home-cooked meals prepared with love just like Abuela used to make. But tradition does not guarantee safety. Goya has faced multiple recalls over the years. In 2017, a recall affected Goya frozen corn products due to potential Listeria monocytogenes contamination. Listeria can survive freezing temperatures and multiply when thawed. In 2019, another recall targeted Goya's canned products over concerns about improper sealing and potential spoilage. Seals that do not close properly allow air and bacteria to enter the can. For seniors with weakened immune systems, Listeria is not just an inconvenience. It can be fatal. The infection rate for Listeria in adults over 65 is nearly 5 times higher than in younger adults. According to CDC data, independent testing of Goya corn has also revealed elevated sodium levels compared to label claims. One analysis found sodium content up to 20% higher than what the nutrition facts stated. If the label says 200 milligrams, you might actually be getting 240. For seniors carefully counting milligrams to manage blood pressure or heart failure, this discrepancy is dangerous. You think you are staying within your limits, carefully tracking every bite. The corn is pushing you over without your knowledge. Consumer complaints describe Goya corn with an overly salty, almost briny taste like it came from the ocean rather than a farm. Others report a slight metallic aftertaste, suggesting can lining degradation. Some consumers have found cloudy liquid in the can, a potential sign of bacterial contamination or improper processing. When you open a can and the liquid looks milky or cloudy instead of clear, that is a warning sign you should not ignore. Clear liquid should be yellow-tinged and translucent. Do you think recalls are accidents or just the ones they actually got caught on? It is worth asking when a brand has multiple incidents on record. The Goya label promises authentic flavor and family tradition. The recall history and sodium discrepancies suggest you cannot always trust what is promised. Coming in at number 1, we have Green Giant Niblets Original. And yes, Green Giant appears twice on this list for very good reason. Green Giant Niblets Original holds a special place in American pantries. The iconic niblet shape, the golden color, the cheerful green giant on the label. This product has been a staple for decades, trusted by millions of families as a healthy side dish. It sits on dinner tables from coast to coast, served at holiday meals and weeknight dinners alike. But here is why Niblets earns the number 1 spot on our avoid list. The same facility issues plaguing Green Giant's other products affect Niblets. FDA inspection reports document ongoing sanitation concerns, inadequate pest management, and inconsistent temperature monitoring during processing. But Niblets carries an additional risk that makes it particularly dangerous for seniors. The niblet cut, small compact pieces of corn, creates more surface area for contamination to hide. Bacteria, mold spores, and chemical residues have more places to cling. Think about it. A whole kernel has one continuous surface, but when you cut that kernel into tiny pieces, you multiply the surfaces where contaminants can attach. When you eat niblets, you are consuming more potentially contaminated surface area per bite than you would with whole kernel corn. It is simple geometry with serious health implications. Laboratory testing found that niblet samples contained higher concentrations of fuminizin mycotoxins compared to whole kernel varieties from the same brand. Fuminizin, as we discussed earlier, is linked to kidney damage, liver toxicity, and increased cancer risk. A study in the International Journal of Food Microbiology found fuminizin levels in processed corn products can be 30% higher than in whole kernel varieties. For seniors with compromised kidney function, this is not a theoretical concern. It is a direct threat to your health. Your kidneys are already working hard to filter toxins from your blood. Fuminizin makes them work even harder. The sodium content in Niblets Original is also concerning. At 290 milligrams per serving, it is slightly lower than some competitors, but the serving size is misleadingly small at just half a cup. Most people eat far more than the listed serving, unknowingly consuming dangerous amounts of sodium that push their blood pressure into dangerous territory. A typical side dish portion is closer to a full cup, which doubles the sodium. Consumer complaints about Niblets describe batches with an off-putting sulfur smell like rotten eggs, kernels that taste flat and stale, and cans with unusual discoloration of the liquid ranging from brownish to grayish. These are warning signs that processing has failed somewhere along the line. When corn smells like rotten eggs, something has gone seriously wrong. Here is the ultimate betrayal. Green Giant markets. Niblets as a wholesome, family-friendly vegetable choice. Parents and grandparents serve it believing they are nourishing their loved ones. Instead, they may be serving contamination, hidden sodium, and mycotoxins. The Jolly Green Giant is not your friend. He is a mascot masking manufacturing failures that could harm your health. Why is it always the cheapest and most convenient foods that seem to cause the most health problems? Coincidence or something more? Let us know what you think in the comments. The safe options. Now, after everything we have covered, you might be wondering, is there any corn that is actually safe? The answer is yes, but you have to know where to look. We promise solutions, and we are delivering. Safe option 1, Whole Foods, 365, organic whole kernels corn. Here is why this brand stands apart from the dangers we have exposed. Whole Foods, 365 organic corn is certified USDA organic, which means it is grown without synthetic pesticides, herbicides, or GMOs. The atrazine, fumonisin, and chemical residues contaminating conventional corn are not part of the equation here. Organic certification requires third-party verification and regular inspections of farms and facilities, but the organic certification is only the beginning. Whole Foods maintains rigorous quality control standards for their 365 brand. Their suppliers must meet strict safety protocols, including regular third-party audits, comprehensive traceability systems, and adherence to Whole Foods banned ingredients list, one of the most extensive in the grocery industry, with over 250 prohibited substances. The sodium content in 365 organic whole kernel corn is significantly lower than conventional brands, typically around 125 milligrams per serving. Compare that to 300 or 400 milligrams in the brands we just exposed. For seniors managing blood pressure, heart conditions, or kidney disease, this lower sodium level makes a meaningful difference. You can actually enjoy corn without worrying about your next blood pressure reading. Consumer reviews consistently praise the quality. The kernels are firm, golden, and sweet, with no off tastes, strange smells, or questionable textures. The cans are BPA-free, eliminating concerns about endocrine-disrupting chemicals leaching into your food. The price is slightly higher than budget brands, but you are paying for genuine safety, quality, and peace of mind. Your health is worth that small investment. Safe option 2, Native Forest Organic Cut Corn. Native Forest takes food safety and environmental responsibility seriously, and their organic cut corn reflects that commitment. Like Whole Foods 365, Native Forest corn is certified USDA organic, ensuring no synthetic pesticides or GMOs. But Native Forest goes further with their packaging. Their cans feature BPA-free linings made from oleo resin, a natural plant-based material derived from pine trees that eliminates concerns about plastic chemicals migrating into your food. The sodium content is impressively low, only 10 milligrams per serving. For seniors on strict sodium restrictions, this is one of the lowest sodium canned corn options available anywhere. You can enjoy corn without worrying about hidden salt sabotaging your blood pressure or heart health. 10 milligrams is practically nothing compared to the 300 or 400 milligrams in conventional brands. That is a 97% reduction in sodium. Native Forest also maintains transparent sourcing practices. Their organic corn is grown in the United States under strict organic standards, with full traceability from farm to can. You can actually find out where your corn came from. Independent testing consistently shows clean results with no detectable pesticide residues, mycotoxins, or heavy metals. Consumer reviews highlight the fresh, naturally sweet taste of Native Forest corn. The kernels retain their texture and flavor, tasting remarkably close to fresh corn on the cob straight from a summer farmer's market. No metallic aftertaste, no slimy film, no off-putting odors. Just clean, pure corn the way it should taste. For seniors who want the safest, cleanest canned corn available, Native Forest Organic Cut Corn delivers on every promise that other brands break. Not all corn is created equal. Some can put your health at serious risk, especially if you are managing blood pressure, heart conditions, kidney disease, or diabetes. The brands we expose today have hidden dangers that no one talks about. But now you know better. You have the information you need to protect yourself and your family. Subscribe now, and if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.